Hello, everyone. Taylor and Shaquille Pearson here. Welcome to Life Discussion Episode 14. Yes, Episode 14. Now, y'all saw my motivational video on Life Discussion Episode 13. So this is what's been going on my mind around last night after I was trying to fall asleep, and I found some amazing thing to help people overcome their fears. You see, some of these people out here became sensitive. And yes, I'm talking about the word sensitive because people can get easily triggered when they're angry, and this sensitivity has really become a painful progress with with the people that were around my area. And yes, some of them were even, and some of them didn't even know what they meant, what they lost. And by truth, and I'll show an example. When I was a kid, I used to be, I was very sensitive. I didn't know what love was about, and I didn't know what was I doing when I was in kindergarten and first grade, because I recently get kicked out of these places because people mistreat me the wrong way. I was sensitive, but then I held up some aggression, and someday I would take revenge on the people who put me through major hell. So you know what? That was being sensitive right there. And people who are insensitive, who don't even understand the words that come out of people's mouth and don't even have a heart to care, they jerks. Some of these people are jerks. And I will admit, I used to be an insensitive jerk too. And sometimes I feel like I am because I upset a few people in my family. They were sensitive. You know what? To be very honest, I'm not trying to make enemies, but I'm trying to show an example why. Because when I go to the to my school, Dunedin Academy, there were some kids who were sensitive, and there were some kids who were insensitive. So the sensitive kids, they kind of wanted to be friendly because look, I'm trying to cope with some of these guys, and so far it has not been good. But I managed to get through a couple people by trying to cope with their sensitivity. And sensitivity literally has a painful benefit, and one of them, you can actually use anger and hate as a defense mechanism before you get threatened. See, I used to do that too. I used to have that kind of thing ever since um I was in some fights. But by truth, sensitivity does have a toll on people. And listen, for those who actually were sensitive but trying to be motivated, but motivated out of that sensitivity, and you're finding a way to grow past it, you're good. But those who are new to this, you got to learn. You see, sensitivity is not something that you guys would take it easy on. You take it you take it seriously. And for, you know what, for those who I know, I can understand that, because the thing about it is I have friends who are sensitive. Well, mainly about a couple actually. Yeah. So you know what? I don't blame my friends for being sensitive, because they have a reason to defend themselves, and they had a reason to be angry and feel hate about. See, if they have a reason to feel angry about it, that's fine. But when they don't have a reason to, and when I try to help them in a fair way, then that kind of like sets them off so fast, and I didn't even know which buttons I was pressing. So therefore, I'm activating a mechanism that's only is on automatic on with sensitivity. I do apologize for speaking too fast, but like I said, people with sensitivity can use anger and hate and some revenge parts to literally, you know, press back these hard motivational um traits. And high insensitivity is really taking a toll on some people that I know, and my friend actually. Well, because listen, my friends do get along, but sometimes they don't because they have some problems they had to deal with on their end, and I had some problems I had to deal with on my end. So were we satisfied with the results that were bad? I should say no, because we are highly sensitive. We're highly sensitive in our own way. And yes, we sometimes have anger to use as a defense mechanism, but sometimes anger has a toll by destroying and decaying your life. It's not good. But my friends managed to cope with it, and yet they managed to get this far. But sometimes they would have to find ways to get themselves out of this situation. And yet, day after day, I've been trying to help a friend out so he or she does not get hurt, and he or she could not, be highly sensitive without, I'm trying to like help a friend out so he or she cannot get, so I don't get on his or her bad side. Because I won't lie, I did get on a couple of my friends' bad sides, and trust me, did I trigger a few nerves that I did not want to trigger. And seriously, I don't know. I did not know until I found out. And right when they got so mad at me, I was cut off for a long time. Well, not for a long time, but for a while. So you know what, ladies and gentlemen, for those who are actually sensitive and they're trying to get themselves out of this situation, sometimes being sensitive is not always that good, and it's not always that bad either. Sometimes we have to cope with it. And don't get me wrong, I was like this. I was in your circle up until the point that I've actually tried to find a way to get out of it. But what I do with my sensitivity is sometimes I have to take my anger and like take it out in video games that I don't want to, and not take it out on people that I know. Like me playing Neo or Mortal Kombat X or Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm 4. See, sensitivity really does have a painful toll on other people. And I know I said this multiple times, but it is very true as a reminder. See, it's really taking effect, and everybody is really trying to work so hard to get out of this situation. And yet it's not, yet they're feeling that kind of pain, and it's like consuming them, like letting their anger and hate build up so much they can't get out of it. But take it from me, I've known that situation, guys. I've been there. I've been there, and I still feel like I am. But listen, we all have to make we all have to cope with our highly sensitivity. But dwelling on it so much can really hurt you, and it will cause you to be decaying you, fracturing your every movement. But I can understand that. Guys, I'm not the I'm not trying to be the bad guy. I'm trying to be the good guy. I mean, even though there's no such thing as heroes for real, sure, we see them on TV shows, we see them on movies, and we see them in anime. But what makes you guys feel like a hero? When somebody in your family was sick, did your sensitive kick in? Because honestly, yes, it did for me. Because I'll pull up an example. When my grandfather had about a couple strokes, I had to warn my Aunt Laverne, and we had to call the hospital, call an ambulance to take my grandfather to the hospital. And then after that, my grandfather couldn't talk at some point because because the stroke took over his mind. And then next thing you know, this happens to him. He's sensitive in mind. And you know what? My friends are also sensitive in mind too, because they're trying to find some way to cope with their sensitivity and try to move on from it. And but sometimes when they're stuck in a situation they can't get out of, it's up to me to bail them out. I'm no hero. I'm no knight in shining armor. No. sometimes I really feel like I am a legend when it comes to helping people, motivating them from out of their dead zone. Sometimes it's really hard to deal with sensitivity and coping with it, either if it's in a love life, in friendship, or in family, or even something that you would do in school or something you do at work. So you know what, guys, for people who have sensitivity, it's not your fault. Even though there's sometimes your parents, your grandparents, or even your aunties or uncles can get on your nerves, but the thing, they do that because they love you. They're trying to discipline you, trying to keep you motivated in a way that they would see fit so you don't repeat the same mistakes they did. I will admit, I will admit, my mom did the same thing to me. She disciplined me, and she did not want me to repeat the mistakes that she did. And I do apologize for her, and I do apologize to everybody in my family and my friends. So you know what? I am sorry. So you know what? It's not our fault for us being sensitive. We have a reason why we are sensitive, because we're vulnerable. We're sometimes weak. And don't get offended, because we're sometimes weak by my heart and mind and even soul. But how we can actually progress with this is that we have to find something. We find that certain thing that keeps us motivated, keeps us pressing forward, and like 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 drop the burden from off of our shoulders, keep ourselves enlightened. So that's exactly what I think about sensitivity. It hurts people. It leaves them vulnerable, weak, and fractured, and disorganized. The way to do this is that you have to figure some way to find a way to stop your sensitivity from coming through. So yeah. All right, everybody. This would actually conclude my life discussion episode 14 about sensitivity. Okay, so give this video a comment, like, and subscribe to me. And if you want to share this video, go ahead and share with your family and with your friends. Tune in next time, okay, everybody? Peace.